What's up, Final Fantasy fans? Soul here with another video for your viewing pleasure, and that's right, we're back. Final Fantasy Resonance, more information, more details, some discussion of DLC. Let's do this, guys. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, huge shout out and thank you to our buddy Confident Line over on Reddit. The only reason I know about this is because Confident is steady working, killing it. So thank you big time, Confident Line. Now, jumping over here, we've got an article on ffdream.com. Link will be down in the description. And so we have it right here. Final Fantasy Resonance, all the info from the Japan Expo, which we've been looking at videos and seeing that. But of course, it's been in French, so let's talk about this. Let's look at it. Translation might be kind of iffy, or either way, I'm going to read it, and let's make the most of it. And so, to the somewhat belated announcement of Keisuke Nakashima, producer of Final Fantasy Resonance, allowed for 2 conferences dedicated to the game. This provided an opportunity to learn about this return to the roots for the saga. Quotes on return to the roots. Square acknowledging, guys. I know the community is screaming. Everybody's like, buy this game. We want this. This is what we want. We want to get back to this. Return to the roots. Rather than simply transcribing what was said during these 2 events, we'd like to highlight the most interesting information. As always, if you want to complete overview of the game, I suggest you skip the following sections. Just remember that Final Fantasy Resonance will be released on Thursday, October 22nd, 2026 for Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch, PS5, Xbox Series XS, PC, and Steam. Finally, for those who wish, here are the links. The first conference hosted by Julian Chaiz, probably said that wrong, and the second presented by Cayenne. What would have happened if Final Fantasy had kept the 2D graphics? With his first question, Keisuke Nakashima was able to explain the reasons behind the development of Final Fantasy Resonance. A fan of Final Fantasy V, its first installment, he wanted to recapture the feeling of the adventure from that era based on a world, random battles, airships, and crystals. Sorry, you can do a lot wrong, but going back to Final Fantasy V is the right thing. Development began approximately 5 years ago. After much deliberation over the visual style to adopt, the team experimented with classic pixel art from the Pixel remasters as well as voxel graphics. They ultimately chose HD 2D, but with the implementation of 3D elements and a dynamic camera, giving it its distinctive look. The goal was continually pushed to the boundaries of graphics and technology, and thus avoid being the least visually appealing HD 2D game. Okay, very nice. And we got some scenes here. An almost original story. In terms of story, Final Fantasy Resonance draws heavily from the first season of Final Fantasy Brace Exvius. However, it won't be a simple copy and paste job, as Keisuke Nakashima insisted that the game be worthy of its console platform. Fully translated into French, the story and dialogue have been rewritten, so don't expect a simple port, but rather a new way to experience the game, a vast world to explore. Absent since the 9th installment, a world map exploration makes a grand return here. Thank you. Whether on foot, on Chocobo back, or aboard a airship, you will have plenty of opportunities to roam and uncover various secrets such as treasures, dungeons, hidden bosses, and visions. Hidden bosses, and visions. And for those in a hurry, the ability to teleport from one point to another will be available, of course, i.e. fast travel. Visionary battles. If you are one of those players who have been campaigning for the return of turn-based combat, which many have been, which has been almost entirely absent, you'll be happy to know that Final Fantasy Resonance adopts this system while also implementing a shock system, like in Final Fantasy XIII or the remake trilogy. Your team consists of 4 characters equipped with visions. Visions function like jobs, grant access to different powers and abilities, i.e. Junction. There are 26 of them, including the characters from previous installments in the franchise, 1 per title, except for 7, which has 2, Cloud and or Sephiroth, guys, as well as Brace Exvius. A slight disappointment, Ariana Grande and Katy Perry aren't among them. However, each vision from the canonical game has been approved by their respective creators, such as Tetsuya Nomura. Very, very cool, guys. Finally, our beloved Aeons will be, of course, present, numbering 10. They will be independent once summoned. They will act on their own for 3 turns, then once the time has elapsed, unleash their ultimate attack before leaving the field. I'm here for it, man. 10 of them, huh? Okay. Plenty of additional content. Keen to make the Resonance a complete RPG, Keisuke Nakashima's team has implemented various side content to keep you occupied alongside the main quest. We've seen that in the images, guys, in the videos. Tons and tons of little side quest markers. I'm here for it. You can search for hidden tablet fragments. I added a word there. Obtain powerful weapons through Eileen's Weapon Forge. Face off against formidable bosses in the weapon chamber. To upgrade your equipment, or even participate in the Coliseum battles, which will offer 4 difficulty levels. There's plenty to do. Oh, and good news. There will be some mini games, including the Infernal Jump Rope, which we saw that in the poor playtester. He got fried. He got destroyed trying to do that. Community questions. Fans were invited to ask the producer questions. Here is the selection that was chosen. And then it says right here, thanks to Fat Chocobo from Finland for the transcription. What motivated the development team to make this game a unique project within the Final Fantasy franchise? When asked about the philosophy that guided the development of the game, Mr. Nakashima explained that the team primarily wanted to bring together everything that, in their opinion, constitutes the essence of Final Fantasy. To achieve this, Square Enix brought together veteran developers who had worked on several iconic installments, including Final Fantasy X, alongside new team members. Numerous discussions took place to define what makes a Final Fantasy unique before all the ideas were brought together in Resonance. In short, they had to make a game, it had to die, and then they got to remake it to save the company. What instructions did you give? And I'm sorry, that's a joke. Don't take me serious. What instructions did you give to Element Garden, Noriyasu Agamatsu, and his team for the 33 new tracks? Regarding the soundtrack composed by Noriyasu Agamatsu and the Element Garden team, Nakashima explains that the guidelines were ultimately quite limited. According to him, the composer is himself a huge fan of the Final Fantasy series and fully understands its musical identity. The team primarily provided him with scenes from the story so that each piece would best complement the key moments of the game, while maintaining the spirits of the saga. This is fantastic, guys. I love it. What were the main challenges you faced in combining the DNA of a retro Final Fantasy with an experience that would still be relevant in 2026? 2 major difficulties marked the production of Resonance. First concerned the balance of the 26 visions, all representing iconic characters from the franchise, and the team wanted to ensure that none appeared less interesting or less powerful than another. That had to be hard to do. No disrespect to anyone, you know what I'm saying? But like, that had to be hard to do. Right, okay. The second challenge was purely technical. HT2D rendering relies on a very precise balance between 2D sprites and 3D environments. According to Nakashima, a simple camera movement could be enough to break the visual illusion. The developers therefore had to adjust numerous elements pixel by pixel, a true labor of love. Furthermore, development initially began with voxels, then moved to a style similar to Pixel Remaster, before finally settling on HD 2D. What will the pace of the game be? This is a gamer question right here. Completing only the main story would take about 30 to 40 hours. Players wishing to explore all the side content can easily exceed 50 to 80 hours of gameplay, guys. Holy. Do you think the choice of the 2D HD aesthetic, reminiscent of Final Fantasy games of the Super Famicom era, will hinder its ability to attract a new audience unfamiliar with the series? In other words, is this Final Fantasy only aimed at fans of the saga? For Nakashima, the choice of HD 2D is absolutely not a drawback. On the contrary, the team sought to modernize this aesthetic so that it would appeal to both new players and longtime fans. The characters were notably designed with larger proportions than in 16-bit games, allowing for a better portrayal of their emotions and expressions. According to him, 2D also possesses its own inherent qualities. It forces the simplification of visual representation, making scenes clearer and more direct for the player. 2D sometimes allows for a more effective transmission of emotions precisely because it simplifies the representation. The team's goal was therefore not to reproduce the pixel art of the 90s, but rather push this form of expression to its maximum. To achieve this, the developers worked on camera movements, animations, expression palettes, and staging to obtain a look that Nakashima considers a natural evolution of the graphic style of the older Final Fantasy games. Wow. What was the biggest technical or creative challenge of the project? The major challenge ultimately wasn't the gameplay, but the graphic design. The producer, remember pixel by pixel, guys. The producer explains that many indie games today offer a beautiful approach to HD 2D. The Resonance team didn't just want to follow this trend, but go even further by finding new ways to represent a universe in pixel art. You know, it really says something when Final Fantasy goes back to pixel, you know. What a win for indie. I love indie games. I play so many indie games, but man, Final Fantasy's always kind of been like the flagship of graphics standards and what they're capable of. And come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, we did it. We did it, guys. Anyways, the developers experimented with several techniques, including sprites composed of increasingly fine pixels, hoping to create a new visual identity. After numerous attempts, however, they realized that this approach did not produce the desired results. Nevertheless, this research allowed them to better understand the still untapped possibilities of pixel art. We realized that, this is a quote, that we were still far from having explored the full potential of pixel art. It's a true science of graphics representation in which there is still a great deal to discover. What a fun quote, right? Like, can't you just say, we see there's a lot of money in indie games and pixel art. That's what people want, so we're going back. For Nakashima, the Final Fantasy Resonance represents precisely this desire to push the boundaries of what is currently possible in HD 2D. They notably collaborated with Team Asano, known for Octopath Traveler. It was difficult for them to surpass what was already excellent. Okay. A dinner with Keisuke Nakashima. So it goes further, guys. This is post the expo. This is some really interesting information. Following the Japan Expo, FF World Finland and Kayane and ourselves were invited to Square Enix France to share a dinner with Mr. Nakashima. Thanks to the entire SC France team and Grigore Helot for his excellent translations. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I don't know that you even care. The abandonment of the chain combo system. This one's the sore spot for some people. And I'm going to tell you something. The chain combo system was dope. But one of Brave Exvius' most distinctive features will not be present in Resonance. Chain combos, which allowed players to string together attacks to reach insane damage numbers, were certainly fun, but poorly suited to the console format. For short sessions on mobile, the dopamine rush worked perfectly, but it proved far too difficult to balance on consoles. I'm just going to agree. I don't know. I'm just going to agree. I feel like it could have done something. Maybe we'll see it in the future. I don't know. Iconic characters are very much present. Spoiler alert, guys. Although it means absolutely nothing to me, know that 6 jurors of Palladium, or sages. No, I'm sorry. They're not jurors? Judges? It's been so long. Anyways, and the 8 sages of Hess, okay, will indeed be present in the game. Ardra will also be involved. Keisuke Nakashima also confirmed that the War of the Visions universe is considered canon within this universe. Is that shout out to a future tactical game? Did we just get that? Multiverse enthusiasts, get your theories flowing. Never mind multiverse enthusiasts. Did we just get confirmation that we're getting a new tactics game? It's not Final Fantasy Tactics. I want that. I want an Ivalice. But I would take this still. War of the Visions? Okay. The original character is deprived of Limit Burst. It's not actually a huge deal. I'm just making a big deal of it because I'm a big Tactics fan. The original character is deprived of Limit Burst. When all enemies are stunned, you can unleash a Limit Burst of one of your visions. This triggers a stunning CGI cinematic sequence where the chosen hero performs one of their signature attacks, while numerous in Brave Exvius. There will only be 26 of these here. It's a finite number, guys. We keep seeing that number, and it's legit. As for the game's heroes, Rain, Lastwell, Fina, etc., although they had access to this ability in Season 2 on the mobile game, they will not be able to on consoles. No CHEI Fina, guys. And as for possible DLC to add new visions, the producer is categorical. Balancing has been so complicated, there's no additions. No additions are planned. So basically a shutdown of DLC. I butchered that. I'm sorry, guys. In essence, in short, long story boring. There's no plan for DLCs or DLC. And the argument is that it's just too hard. We'll see what happens when the money rolls. You know what I'm saying? Adapted from Season 1, but not only that. The most dedicated fans may have noticed that some tracks added in Season 2 and 3 can be heard in various game clips shown. The reason is quite simple. The team thought that they were well done and therefore decided to use them, so don't read anything into it. However, when asked to what extent the game had been rewritten and whether sequels adapting Season 2 and 3 were expected, Nakashima admitted that the ending had been modified to offer a complete and satisfying game. This brings to mind the endings of Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth, which concluded that episodes while also opening the door to the future. There might be something lost in translation here because I don't really understand how we're making that jump, but clearly they got that feeling and that understanding from that conversation. So I'm just going to take that as a win and say, cool. I mean, let's be honest. Of course they want to have a sequel. Of course he wants to have a sequel. Think about it. He wants his game to be successful. But he can't say anything, until the numbers roll and he sees how it all falls. And we vote with our wallets, ladies and gentlemen. So get to voting. The meaning of the logo. Probably the funniest answer of the evening. When asked if the logo had a particular meaning, Nakashima confessed that he had simply requested the character Fina and a crystal. Yoshitaka Amano was therefore given free rein to create, and even Nakashima isn't entirely sure what it represents. What? Oh, wow. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned now, maybe. I don't know. Producer's favorite visions. The inevitable question for Nakashima, it's Squall and Shantoto. Shout out to Final Fantasy XI, homies. 2 visions specializing in area of effect damage. Oh, perfect for wiping out groups of enemies in an instant. Furthermore, we were also told that it will be possible to completely break the game within the right vision combinations. Okay. Accessible trophies. After the traumatic platinum trophy grind of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I had to find out if I should expect to cry blood. Good news, that won't be the case, as developers have opted for something more accessible. There will still be a few challenges that will require you to refine your teams and mastery of the gameplay system, but nothing too difficult. And above all, nothing involving mini-games. That's in regards to trophies, guys. Take that for what it's worth. They're not saying the game's going to be easy. There's going to be multiple difficulty settings from casual, normal, or medium to hard, okay? They're just saying getting the trophies isn't going to be like walking through hot burning coals with metal spikes, you know. Anyways, yeah. So, external inspirations. When asked about his potential influences outside of Square Enix, Nakashima told us that he loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So much so that he drew inspiration from the way legendary ships were unlocked in the game to design some of Resonance's mechanics. Wow, okay. Well, I mean, shout out to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It was a good game. It was a really good game. This is fascinating, right? Once again, huge shout out and thank you to Confident Line. Thank you so much for making the post and being so diligent of a fan. Honestly, like you're pretty awesome. Guys, get down in the comments, talk to me about it. I love all the information. I love everything that we're seeing and the constant or the continuous flow of information. I mean, I can't really fathom what else there's going to be to talk about here soon, but I'm here for it and I'll talk about it. I don't care. And maybe we could talk them into giving us the game early. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard of a game release getting moved up? Man, can we do that? Is it time? We'll start a new trend, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Drop down in the comments, tell me what you think, guys. If you think I'm worthy, while you're down there, please drop me a like and subscribe. Really helps me out and enables me to do even more of what I do. So thank you for doing so. Past that, huge shout out and thank you to our soldiers. You guys and gals are the ones that keep the content rolling, me going, everything flowing. Thank you so much for the support. And until next time, guys, I will catch you later. Bye.